To the high slot, Marino in front, Guentzel, he scores! Jake Guentzel! OT winner for the black and gold of the Pens, off to the Stanley Cup playoffs for a 15th straight year.
Number 59, Jake Guentzel.
You must be feeling pretty good this morning after scoring on a game-winning overtime goal, right?
Yeah, it definitely feels nice. I mean, fighting with these guys from whenever you can get a win against them definitely feels nice.
Jake, we have to start with your family. I mean, obviously your dad is a hockey guy. You got two older brothers, Gabe and Ryan, who both went on to play a little pro hockey. And could you just talk about what it was like in the Guentzel household and how much hockey meant to all of you?
Well, I think it was hockey right away for all of us. I think being fortunate to have a dad that coaches, I think that was pretty unique for us to have that. And we pretty much grew up in rinks. So I think for us, hockey was always a sport that we wanted to do and be involved in, and we all made some pretty good careers out of it. So we're definitely lucky to have what we had when we were younger.
Jake, I know from just being in hockey as long as I have, that any guy that comes into the league who's not a big guy hears throughout his career, you'll never make it, you're not big enough. How much of that did you hear growing up?
That's all I heard growing up. You're too small, you're too weak. Didn't let that bother me because I heard it so much. So used it as fuel for myself and wanted to prove people wrong. I mean, I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the tallest, but I was going to compete and do anything I can to get to where I wanted to go.
Here is Olofsson, no back across, Guentzel, score! They do give up a last-minute goal with 4/10 of a second remaining. Jake Guentzel nudges one home, and the Mavericks back to within one. It's 3-2.
You went to the University of Nebraska Omaha. You were actually born in Omaha, then you grew up in Minnesota. Is that why you went to Nebraska Omaha, because your dad had been there and you just had more of an awareness of that program, or what was it that sent you back that way?
Yeah, I think it's awareness of the program, but also of Dean Blaze and the coaching staff there. I think that he's had so much success getting guys to the NHL, and I think for me that was my main goal, is to get to the NHL. So I wanted to do that and kind of create my own path with my family, and I'm pretty fortunate to have a coach like that in college hockey that's been in the program and had a lot of guys get to the NHL like that, like he did.
Pittsburgh selects from Sioux City of the USHL, Jake Guentzel.
Pittsburgh Penguins have selected Jake Guentzel from Sioux City of the United States Hockey League. Thank you, Pittsburgh.
The Pens drafted you in the third round, 77th overall in New Jersey. What was that experience like for you the day you were drafted?
Just a great day overall. I mean, you never expect to kind of get drafted in the NHL, just so to have that, I think it was pretty cool, especially with my parents there who did so much for me in my career. They were definitely one of the teams that were the most interested, and I was pretty lucky to be drafted by the Penguins, and kind of just ran with it ever since.
It means a lot, obviously, all the people they've drafted over the years. It just means so much to be a part of one of those guys, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, to think about playing with like Sid and Gino and all those.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Shot, score! Do you believe it? Jake Guentzel has scored his National Hockey League goal and his first shot, and there are his parents cheering him on. That's his dad on the left, Mike Guentzel, who is a coach for the University of Minnesota. What a way to start a career.
I think it's kind of interesting that, here you'll never make it, and then you score a goal on your first shot in the National Hockey League. So it didn't take you long to prove you belonged.
Yeah, found out the night before I was getting called up. Just called my parents right away, and they would have done whatever to get there. And a lot of nerves going into that game. I mean, that's what you dream about, playing in the NHL. So first shift, just trying to throw a puck on net and somehow found the net, and just to see that video after, your family and your brother react. And I think that's what it's all about, is those memories that we created from that night, and just a dream come true for all of us. So definitely a special night for our family.
Congratulations. Fun to see.
How are you? Good.
You couldn't have a better start than that. Huh? A smile on your face when you scored, it was like,
Crosby line, scores! Guentzel, goal number 3, is the game winner!
Jake Guentzel arriving on the scene. Yeah. That's where you build the winners.
That's
you build them from the bottom up.
You go from playing college in the spring of 2016 to leading the Penguins in scoring, winning a Stanley Cup. I mean, you talk about bursting onto the scene and having some phenomenal experiences right out of the gate. Pretty special stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when I look back at that year, it's kind of a whirlwind of a year. I mean, just to win the Stanley Cup like we did, it was pretty special, and you always have that memory in your lifetime. So once you win once, I think you look back at it and you definitely realize how hard it is, and you want to get that feeling again, so you're doing whatever it takes to get to that.
You do this little twirl in warm-ups by the glass. Talk about that superstition or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I don't know how it started. I know it started with Scott Wilson. And then when he was out of the lineup or hurt, Rusty just took over for that and must have had a good game, one of us, and then we just kind of ran with it, and now it's still in the warm-up routine, so we'll keep it going because it's been working.
Mike Sullivan describes you as brave, and I looked up the definition of brave. It says, endure or face unpleasant conditions or behavior without showing fear. Are you afraid of anything, Jake?
Off the ice, yeah, the snakes and stuff, but I'm just competitive. I like to get to the front, and I like to do things, and I'm not really scared of much on the ice. And being a smaller guy, you know, the front of the net, you're gonna get cross checks and stuff like that, but it's worth it in the long run because you know a lot of goals are scored around there, and rebounds, tips, screens, do whatever. I think that's what I try to do, and for me, I've been pretty lucky to play along one of the best ever, so it makes my job pretty easy. It's just getting open on the back doors, and you know he's going to find you.
Side of the net, poked in, they score! Jake Guentzel, and number 40 is the game-tying goal. Oh, some hungry hippos there. So Jake Guentzel is at the 40-goal plateau for the first time in his career. Sidney Crosby, for the 6th time in his career, hits 100 points in a season.
I wanted to ask you about this because I have to figure this was a very difficult time in your short career to this point when you got hurt. How much of a challenge was that for you to be able to get yourself back to the level that you're at again now?
Just my first kind of major injury that I've ever had like that, and where I've had to miss significant time, so it's tough. I mean, you never want to be out injured like that, and you just got to have a good support system, and I was willing to do whatever it takes to get back. I mean, for my sake, I was pretty fortunate that what happened to get some longer recovery time and make sure when time came that I'd be at my best.
And you can lock the doors and turn out the lights because the Penguins have won this game in overtime. And I'll see you at the Milkshake Factory tomorrow. It's a buy one, get one, 50% off Jake Shakes tomorrow.
I'd love to keep talking to you, but I got to get downtown to the Milkshake Factory and get myself a milkshake because you scored the winning goal last night in overtime, okay?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steggy.